had the mic off. So hopefully, today stream has started on time. I'm all set up. We're ready to go. I'm going to be painting this cow, this low poly cow, that I'm working on in Blender for fun. So when we left off, I did the wireframing side view here, and then we pushed and pulled the vertices, the edges, the faces until we got the general cow shape here. And now we're going to start the process of UV unwrapping. UV unwrapping takes these faces that are curved and lays them flat so you can start painting on them. It's something that I'm not that great at, but it's a learning process. So I'm just going to keep doing it and learning it, and you can learn along with me. So the first thing I want to do is the cow is made up of a few pieces. We have the body and the ear, the ears themselves. I want to merge the ear into the cow mesh. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the modifiers tab. I am going to stop displaying the mirror modifier. I'm going to go into the ears, and I'm actually going to get rid of the ear mirror modifier. You can see here that the ear comes through the mesh into the cow. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add another modifier that will like weld them together basically. And to do that, I'm going to select this and this. Wait, no, sorry. I'm going to select the ear, add a modifier, and it is the Boolean modifier. And I'm going to say with the cube. What I'm going to say is union, like that. Go ahead and hit apply. And now the ear is still separate. So it's not separate anymore. Cool. So I did exactly what I wanted it to do. It folded up the mesh. We do have some extra faces that we don't need, so we might delete those real quick. Actually, and duplicate cow mesh that time. That's what was going on. And now you should be able to see into the ear that. Alright, so the ear is part of it. The eye is separate, and I think I'm going to leave it separate. Just because I don't, well, let's do the same thing to the eye. There's two eyes. We're actually going to delete this eye. We're going to take the cow body here, add a modifier, Boolean, pick the eyeball, and say union. So now we delete this eye. Oh, it didn't work. That did not work. Delete the wrong one. Huh. Oh, I didn't apply it. That's what's going on. Apply the modifier, then delete the extra eyeball. Okay. Now you can see there's no extra faces. That's actually concave like you would expect. And now the cow itself, we lost that mirror modifier, so we're gonna have to add it back. Mirror XY, we're gonna say clipping. Whoops. We're Why that happened. Okay, well, to fix that, we are going to have to select all the inside. Actually, we could just do all, move it in, let go, move it back out. There you go. We have clipping turned on, so it welded those pieces together. Want to make sure that the tail's still round. Cool. All right. We're not going to apply the mirror because we are going to UV unwrap only half of the cow. That way we don't have to paint twice as much. All right, so let's get started. We don't need this view anymore. One of the things I hear from people who are starting with Blender is they accidentally pull out windows like this, and then they get really lost in what to do. Pretty easy, the window management system. If you click on one of these windows, you can right click it and you can say split area or join area. We're join the areas. You just have to find the border between them, right click, join the area, down. And it works like that. I just know that some people get lost in the UI of Blender when they accidentally bring out a window they didn't mean to bring out. So I wanted to point that out real quick. Alright, so to do UV unwrapping, I'm actually going to get another window here. And then we're going to say, what do we want this to be? The image editor. Okay. We're going to actually turn off the visibility of the other half of the cow. And I'm actually going to try just to do UV. Oh, gotta be in edit mode. Try UV unwrap. See what happens. Huh. Mesh. There we go. It's actually just the U key if you want another shortcut, but we're gonna unwrap it. And what you'll see is the results are not good. We don't want all of this geometry just gobbled on here like this. So what we need to do is we need to add some cut lines. Basically places where the UV map will be, or will split the model along. So one of the places I want to cut this model, let's start with the head, and we'll go into the eye. We'll cut the eye off of the model, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It seems silly, we just merged the eye to the model, and now we're gonna cut it with the UV line, but it's called a UV seam, I believe. You'll see why we did that here. So you're just selecting all the edges. Alt clicking did not give me the results I wanted. Oop. Not what I wanted. Okay, I have to do this the hard way. Keep clicking around the icosphere. Gotta make sure you get all these edges. See, there's a little one right there. That. Okay, now we can go to mesh, edges, and then we're gonna mark as seam. See this right here? Mark as seam. Also, it's in the tools over here. If you want to go to here, you can see mark as seam, unwrap, clear seam. We're going to do the same thing for the ear. We're going to mark the seam on the ear. We're also going to mark the seam around it as well, because we're going to want to paint the inside differently. So sorry, I'm kind of concentrating, making sure I'm getting all these edges. Missing some edges. I know I'm missing edges in there. Ah, frustrating. Sorry, I'm adjusting my desk. I'm going to... How I'm doing this. I showed this last time in my last video, but I have this cool Space Navigator tool. Basically, you pull and push on it, move it around. Allows you to navigate 3D space. Really handy tool, especially when you start trying to zoom in on this little areas like this and your mouse wheel clicks are too big of a step. Back out. Okay, so now we have this. I'll go back into perspective mode because that's kind of making me dizzy. All right, so now I'm also going to cut around the front of the ear here. Not cut it, but mark it as a seam. Normally you want to hide these seams, but in this case we're just going to be painting right in here like this. So we're not actually going to paint different colors on the seam itself, so it won't be very noticeable. All right, we're going to mark it as seam. And you can see when you mark it as a seam, it turns red. Basically, it's like, hey, you're going to cut me off when you unwrap. That's exactly what we want. So, I'm going to do the same thing for the little horn stubs here. Good. Mark that as a seam. We're going to want to probably, sounds morbid, but we're going to want to cut the head off also and texture it separately. That, mark that as a seam. I also want to get this snout, oops, snout separate. That, oh, almost missed one. There we go. Mark a seam. Now we'll probably want to cut the tail off. All right, mark a seam. Oh yeah, last video, one of my viewers said no more udder jokes, so I promised I wouldn't do any more udder jokes. So we're also going to cut the udders off of the cow so we can paint them separately. We're not actually cutting them. I keep saying cutting them, but we're going to mark them as a seam in the texture. Okay, so just to show you how much better we are already, I'll unwrap this. And you can see already we're getting some better results. Having some problems here. Don't know what that is. Video mode. Oops. What I'm trying to find, this one, keep UV and edit mode selections in sync. What this does is whatever you select over here will show up over here, whatever you select over here will show up over here. So, I want to know what the heck's causing this problem right here. Oops. That. Box selection mode, I forget that. So, looks like there's some problem. The horn? I think it's the horn. Must have missed. I did. I missed something. Oh man. Yeah, I missed. Maybe I can see something from the backside. Huh. Here with. Oh. Looks like I have to mark those as seams as well. Okay. Mesh. UV unwrap. Boom. All. Still kind of janked up, huh? All. Unwrap. Unwrap. Got better. This eyeball. Looks like the eyeball is okay. So this is kind of a problem, common problem with unwrapping, finding all these weirdness. This is the tail. This whole thing right here is the tail. Tail's giant, body's small. I think that's the udders. That's the ear. The ear's good. Head, I think all that's the head. And then all this. Where the heck is the body at? That little tiny thing down there is the body. So sometimes some weird stuff going on back there. Let me just keep going, marking seams, and we'll see how far we get. I'm gonna make sure I cut off the mark the legs separate, because as you can see, that's the leg right there. That looks really funny. And then we'll probably also mark a seam down the end. That. Select all, UV unwrap. Alright, so sometimes smart unwrapping is the better way to go. And in this case, it looks like that's the way. Should have did it, wasted some time, but anyway, now you get to see the struggles. Okay, to start painting this, we can change these into vertex paint mode here. And then over here, we're going to change this into, actually, let me go change this back to edit mode. Then we need to turn off the syncing between the live view. I think it was on. Syncing off. Then, okay. All. Then go to edit mode. Actually, over here, maybe I should go to I do that before. Oh, I changed this and edit. Oh, paint. Cool. And then we'll change this mode into paint. As well. Definitely want texture. It says missing texture slot. Add one below. Add paint slot. Diffuse color. Okay. Black. We don't want black. We want this to be a brown cow. Brown is always a hard color for me to get on these color wheels. Bright color brown. And so we could start painting like this. Over here, we need to actually open the material diffuse color. We could paint over here as well. This I like to paint on this side because it makes sure that I get all the pieces. But once it's all painted over here, I do go back and I like mark colors over here on my model. Mark this, like down here I'd mark the udders pink so I can see where they're at on this over here, and then I can, you know, paint them better over here on this model. So what I'm going to do is for my paintbrush over here, whoops, I want to set the strength all the way up to 100 because I want full paint to be applied. I want this to be brown. I'm not sure if there's a fill mode, but this way is pretty fast, so I just do it like that. So now our cow is brown here. We render this, you'll see we got a brown cow. Render is F12, and to get out of rendering is escape. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our brush smaller, and we're gonna paint some lighter patches of brown spots. Like that. This would be a good time to pull up a reference image of a brown cow so I can see what they look like, since I'm not too familiar with brown cows. When I start typing in brown cow, the first thing that comes up is brown cow soccer. That's pretty funny. Oh look, brown cows have white spots. There's one. Oh, you can't see my screen, sorry. Here's a white cow with brown spots, a brown cow with white spots. Looks like they're brown and white. I'm going to go with that as my image. We'll move it over here just so it's on the way. So I'm going to actually change this, and it's going to be white. Not turn out white. There you go. Bluish color. Oh, here we go. You can edit the values directly. Actually, we want 1, 1, 1, 1. That's pure white. So it looks like this cow has some spots over his shoulder, come down around his under his belly. Kind of getting the idea of the shape here. Cow has a white leg back here. Off that. So it's already sort of looking like a cow, brown cow here. We're gonna paint, move the brush size smaller, zoom in, the top of the head. that. Alright, so this is starting to look alright. Not completely done yet with the patterns. That. And this is really rough. I'm just roughing in the patterns of the spots right now. Okay, good. We need to make sure we get this belly part. We can get these udders later, fix them. Right. I feel like the cow needs a spot. Something like that. But so right here you can see as I'm painting it's showing up on the texture, and sometimes it's easier to go into the texture, paint on a flat surface. You can see as I'm doing that, it's showing up over here, which is super cool. I was really surprised that Blender's built-in like geometry painting tools. It's pretty powerful. I'm sure there's also better ways to use it other than the way I was showing you to unwrap. Like I said, I'm learning Blender. Trying to learn to love Blender. That's my joke. Learning to love Blender. There's a lot of people who swear by it as like one of the best 3D softwares out there. So what's that? There. Here. I think. There we go. So we got some white going on the cow. Paint the eyeball. We're going to paint the eyeball black. That did not work, did it? So notice I'm just kind of tapping it. I'm going to zoom out and find it over here. Wow. Eyeballs cut up into some pieces. Horn, I think. Nope, that's an udder. There is the eyeball. That's the udder, unfortunately. I was painting the udder. That's the horn. I don't know if I want it straight black. The eyeball. That. Okay, let's go to the udders themselves. Color. These actually might be easier to paint like this because of how small they are, how tight this area is with other objects. These might be better to paint on the 3D model versus on texture itself. I should get a bigger brush going. Blast this paint on here. Gotta be careful of the shadows like that. That happens when you're painting on the 3D model. And then see right there, I just oversprayed pink on the belly of the cow. Oh, I'm not even streaming. What's going on? Oh no, I'm streaming. What is going on? Got Chomper Blender live. Need to send this URL real quick. I messed up a little bit on my setup today. Dang it. My event didn't go as planned. I'm the only one watching. It says I'm live now. Oh, weird. 1 second. Happens to me every time, unfortunately. Man, okay. Well, I messed up my link. So, I sent out a tweet everywhere with the wrong link. One second. Sorry, guys. It's tweeting, share this puppy. The actual one. Alright. Well, at least the video will be good. The stream kind of went. I was wondering why no one was interacting. Because no one knew the right URL to the stream. Anyway, painting the cow. What a bummer. I totally messed that up. Alright, well, I'm set up. Sorry for the confusion. I am live streaming now in the right spot. We can see over here, these are definitely the udders, pink stuff. Need to paint. I think those are the horns. And the udders are spread everywhere. Zoom in here. Just size this down. We're actually painting at the pixel level, it looks like right now. Alright, so this needs to be painted. I think that's probably the back portion. Yes. This needs to be painted in. The others. That. Fine. Ah, here we go. Rest of the others. So sometimes I jump back and forth. Sometimes it's much easier to paint over here. Sometimes it's much easier to paint over here. I'm having a there. Can't even paint it this direction. Oh well, not a big deal. So, butters are painted. I'm gonna fix this white color here. So, Alt. Wait, how do I pick a color? What color picker? White. That is not the white I was wanting to pick. If you're picking colors, pick them from your texture over here instead of over here, because this, if you pick it from over here, you will pick the color plus the lighting of the room, so it'll kind of mess it up. All right. So now I'm painting cow. Let's paint the hooves. The hooves. Paint those. I want to get it. I want the line pretty much right at the geometry line. Just is. And see, if I would have been painting down here, it would have been much easier to paint right at the geometry line. One side. Here. So, like I said, jump back and forth between the UV and the actual model. It'll be helpful. Need to paint this. Probably should paint part of the leg. Inside leg would probably be the same color as the outside, I'm guessing. So pick the white color back up. Here, just to mark it. So yeah, it's there. Mark right here. This one's gonna be tricky. So mark side. This part. So here. Oh, so that I'm trying to keep these views in sync so you can see how painting on one shows the other one. Oops. Spacebar. Just trying to make my brush bigger. To make your brush bigger, it's the square bracket keys or the curly bracket keys, actually, just like it is in Photoshop. Yeah, I messed up the link. Yeah, so I messed up the link and no one was watching. Because they were all at the other page just hanging out waiting for... Anyway. Can't dwell on it. Gotta keep going with the stream here. I'm still in the white color. I'm gonna mark inside of this leg. That definitely don't want this piece, that color. I think that's over here. But like I said, use both views and you can tackle this much quicker. Oh, actually, that needs to be white. All right. Go. White. Why is that? Anyways, just kind of paint away until you get it looking the way you want it. You have to be very careful over in the geometry painting because you can see I just sprayed the tail. Happens. New paint over here. I like to try to keep my paintings over here, but when you're like matching up corners and stuff, you have to do it over here. You don't have to, it's just so much easier. Oh, that's weird, as I'm painting here. Okay, well, not too many people will see the underside of the leg anyway. I definitely do want to fix the back side of this leg. So let me pick that color. Right here. Small. I missed the spot here. That. This color. Foot. Where's the bottom of the foot? This square piece right here? No way. Yep. But it should be easier to paint on the geometry at this point, so I don't blow over the line. Then you can use the geometry and the angle of the view to like make these sharp lines. And it's even easier when you have half a model because you can make that sharp line shoot overspray into nothing. So it's almost like spray painting. If you've ever spray painted in real life, you know you want to like kind of shoot the overspray away from everything else. Kind of what I'm doing with this brush here. And painting on the 3D model. Alright, so this leg is brown, which is cool. But we are going to paint the hoof. 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 I'm just marking up sides. I want bottom sides. So now we can use this. And normally I would do this on my Wacom tablet. So doing it with the mouse is actually kind of hard. It is possible. Just so much easier with the Wacom tablet just to paint on these models. Brown Cow Software says that this cow is epic. I would have to agree. Let me turn back on the mirror modifier so we can see. Sometimes, like this, when you have something that goes across the top, having the mirror modifier on is helpful because we don't want this like butterfly looking pattern right there. We will fix that in a little bit once I'm done with these hooves. Hooves. And so if you wanted different, you wanted an asymmetrical model, like where this side was painted different than this side, you would have to apply the mirror modifier first and then UV unwrap it. But then you would have twice as much stuff as this to mess with. And in this case, this low poly model, I'm not too worried about that. I don't care about this symmetry too much. I don't care that it is symmetrical, especially because it's a low poly, kind of supposed to be cartoony model. Alright, so maybe I should connect these pieces right here. I'm thinking I should connect them so the whole underbelly is a little white. I'm going to do that. Again, I wish I could pick, like, have a color picker or shortcut. No shortcut available for that, unfortunately. That I know of. If you know of one, please let me know in the comments. That would be awesome. I would love straight, perfect line. I would love to know how to pick a color with the shortcut. And again, like right here, painting around the udder, so much easier to do on the texture map instead of on the 3D model because I'd be overspraying onto the udder. Don't want that. Got a lot of it. Where is this piece? Oh, right there. I need to paint these legs. Triangle in. Right. Back of this. Anything I want kind of. Cool, looking pretty good. Tell that I've kind of messed up on the horns. I want to paint those horns a light gray. This is gonna be hard. I can tell because there's a whole bunch of overspray. There's a bunch of pink stuff everywhere. Even the eyeballs, kind of funny. React. Where are the horns? Where are the horns? Sometimes you have to search and search, find them. Like that's the horn. Part of the horn. Yes. Another part of the horn. Here. Fix all this junk on this cow's head. Or zoomed in. Brush. Brown color. All this accidental pink. Perfect. Oh. Horns stand out a little bit more. Looking cool. Oops. In my overspray, I tapped the leg over there. But if I turned off mirroring, look how much easier it is. I can paint without worrying about overspray. Ooh, looking good. Let's bring the other half back. The cow's mouth area needs some attention. And then we'll do the tail. So, where did my reference image going? Real quick, there's the reference image. Looks like their mouth is sort of the same pink as their udders. That same color pink. Maybe go a little more a little lighter with it. All right, so where is my cow's mouth? Pretty much this section here. That. Looks pretty funny. Good thing this is a low poly cartoonish cow. Worry too much about looking perfect. That's that, so I use the model to fix it. That I want to change back to brown. I think I'm going to use the brush over here. Maybe even this. All right, so about 4 more minutes worth of stream. Cow's looking pretty good. He's got his mouth looking. Probably need to paint the nostrils, like the nose area, black or something. Want to do something with the tail. The tail needs to be like a lighter brown right here. So actually, let's do that real quick. Oh man, I have such a hard time picking colors. With the mirror modifier real quick. Spraying. Oh. Alright, let's do a render real quick. See, there's our brown cow. He's not lit very well. Let me change the lighting real quick. Lamp. He, she. It's actually a girl. I believe discussed this last time that it was a girl. Energy, let's turn it a bit. Let's make it brighter. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. Brown cow. Alright, so that's the basics of how you paint. It's tedious, but necessary. Josh Reese says, submit this a replacement cow for Minecraft. Anyway, that's kind of how I do it. I also wanted to show, take the last few minutes of the stream, show my website. Rebuilding it. I'm trying to make it a little easier keep up with. I want to keep uploading my information to my website so it's easier to follow me. And I don't want to spend a lot of time coding it, so I actually switched over to database-backed website engine. I have some of my games posted here. Only one right now, but I'm going to post all the games that I've built in the past. I'll have the 3D models here, like this cow that we're working on. Follow my blogs. Trying out WordPress, that's this whole deal here. But do give my game a shot. I built this game a while back. A lot of people will get confused. They're like, how do I hit the play button? You actually move your guy over and jump and hit the play button. And kill the bears before they kill you, and you chop down trees. And you move on to the next section of the level. Don't let the birds poop on your head. Play, die, enter your name. Go into this global ranking board here. So yeah. That was a fun stream. Sorry I posted the wrong URL at first. I don't know what happened there. Next time I'm hoping that I'll get it right and we'll start the stream off correctly. But until then, thanks for joining. Thanks for learning a little bit about texturing in Blender. It's definitely a fun process. Can be tedious, but it's worth it once you see your model with some actual colors on it. It's pretty cool. Instead of, you know, the boring old go to object mode. Cool to build models like this, but it's really neat to see them when they're all rendered up in their materials. So anyway, I hope you learned something. Catch me next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I think next weekend I'm going to start working on my UML tool that I'm building inside of Godot for my documentation for my giant game project that I'm working on. Anyway, thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.